Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So, we're now going to our last single strike for the Rokyu 6th Q level, our green belt. This is the knife hand strike, Shuto uchi. Now we've done Shuto uke meaning to receive with the knife hand, okay? And even then, if you go back and rewatch my video on that, sometimes we're receiving actually with the forearm, but the hand is formed like a knife or sword hand. Some styles actually call it tegatana, hand sword. Even in some Kempo circles, they call this hand sword instead of knife hand. But it's small, so it's a knife. If it was a little longer, maybe a tanto and then a shoto and a daito. All right, knife hand. The key here is hand formation, okay? Now, different styles do it differently. In Aikido, you'll see them hit knife hand with their fingers extended this way. There are some Okinawa Kempo systems that advocate this hand position. I don't like this one because if you've ever had anybody squeeze your hand in a handshake, when your fingers are curved, that's a weak position. And there's a lot of talk about where the chi is flowing and whatever. And, if you want to get into the breathing mysticism part of it. But for a strong knife, I want the blade flat, not curved. I can't cut well in this position. It also doesn't tighten this edge of my hand very well. From here, I'm pulling my fingers back tightly, then slight bend in the upper fingers, but this knuckle is trying to create a lordotic arch here, kyphosis here, lordosis here for your physical. Then the thumb is pulled back up on the hand, and we're trying to squeeze anywhere from the knuckle to the tip of the thumb tightly against this edge or this knuckle on your index finger. Now, as you get a little bit freer with it, then the fingers can open up a little bit, but I'm doing that in order to create this kyphotic, lordotic, this convex, concave shape on the hand. As to start with, the more tightly you can keep your fingers together, great, but as you actually get into it, then there's a little bit of a softening of the finger position, but the thumb gripping tightly here and pulling up on this muscle of the hand is the key to squeezing down so that all of the bones, all of the metacarpals in my hand, the long bones between the wrist and my fingers, my metacarpals, are straight, lined up straight, and with this muscle tensed pressing down, we create a very firm knife, basically, hand. We're trying to think of our hands as swords, as knives to actually cut. All right, so that's my hand formation, pulling the thumb up and back, creating that muscle tension here, and straight and tight. Pulling slightly back this way, back, which forces them to curve. If you can pull them back, some people have that flexibility, but I don't want squid hands all the way back like this. I want that back, but then squeezing the fingers a little bit to tighten even the finger position as well as the hand position. So that's my knife hand position. We begin striking, basic strike coming down an angle. This is collarbone. The shape of the collarbone from the neck goes back at an angle a little bit and then has a little straight edge toward where it meets at the shoulder joint there, okay? So we're hitting at the angled portion, coming in and down at the collarbone for our first basic shitouchi strike, knife hand strike. Just like our hammer started, opening the hand in that tight position, striking forward, in and down. This way. You'll notice it also matches perfectly where the collar of the gi is. Kind of nice to have a guide where you can hurt the karate guy, right? Down and in. We can also strike inward for the temple or to the neck. In this case, I don't want to hyperextend my arm. I want to keep it in. If you've ever done like a fly machine that has the handles at a weight room, we don't do that by bringing our arms straight out this way. Even if you're using dumbbell flies, the arms stay curved because they're stronger. and even more so if you have the ones where you put your forearms on the pads and squeeze in. That's where my maximum strength is with the arm bent and in, striking neck or temple, okay? We can also come cross hand, going across to the neck. This one, very much like a back fist or a cross hand hammer, again, striking to the temple or across to the neck. We can go forward to the neck, coming into the throat area instead of the side of the neck. Okay? If we have someone bent over, we can strike straight downward into the neck. You can have a guy stomp his knee and have him on his knee, pull the head back, striking in up under the philtrum of the nose, or again into the throat from that position. So angles for striking, 1, 2, and at the neck height, just slightly lower, cross 3, okay, forward 4, straight down 5, how you might break a stack of boards, or I should say a board. Don't want to get cocky, maybe we don't all break stacks of boards, or a brick, right? Straight downward, breaking. This is a strike very much that needs to be conditioned, so you learn to hit with your hand tightly in that position. So again, makiwara sensei is a very useful assist for this. And we can do it cross hand, the one I showed you, pressing straight forward, cross hand, or coming inward and cross hand for makiwara training. You can also then advance to some of Higaona's or Chinese versions with the iron palm bag, as I've shown you before, to practice striking, hitting rocks. Go watch Masatatsu Oyama, founder of Kyokushin, breaking his stack of rocks. But it very much needs that conditioning, training to get your knife hand ready. Shuto uchi, striking with the sword hand, as opposed to shuto uke, blocking with the knife edge hand. That's today's strike for the Rokyu 6th Kyu green belt. As always, hit like, share, subscribe, tell a joke, ask a question, share your experiences. How many boards did you break? Have you ever broken boards with a knife hand? Or freestanding, anything, rocks? Pick up a rock out of the yard, anything? And that'll do it until next week, and we'll approach what I call the open hand double circle blocking, or the 8-point open hand strikes, double circle blocks. Look forward to that one, it's kind of fun. Until next week, as always, keep practicing.